let's talk about Angel Reese and the Chicago Sky. Now, I've said I'm always going to be fair on this channel. Angel Reese is playing much better. All right, she is. I don't want to act like, look, it's one thing for a couple of games. When you're into 7 and 8 games in a row of your game looking a lot different, there's a chance she has changed her game for the better. And I think it's because of shot selection. All right. Now, some of that may come from the coaching of Tyler Marsh.
What happens when Angel Reese fans turn into full-on internet detectives on Twitter, while Tyler Marsh seems to lose control of the game? Welcome to total chaos. The Chicago Sky just took a heavy loss against the Minnesota Lynx, and now frustrated fans are practically calling for Marsh to be shown the door, with security on standby. Grab some popcorn. This situation is heating up fast, like courtside seats in the middle of summer. Is this the start of a rebuild, or is the team falling apart in public? Let's break it down.
And the Chicago Sky is falling. The sky is falling, y'all. Chicago Sky fans are crashing out crazy on head coach Tyler Marsh. And I gotta be honest with you guys, I don't blame them. Not for this one. I do not blame the Chicago Sky fans for crashing out and calling for Tyler Marsh's job on.
Fans of Angel Reese seem to have reached a point where logic barely matters anymore. You could hand them an entire guide on basketball strategy, and they'd still wonder why Reese isn't automatically being crowned MVP just for showing up. Somehow, they've started to believe that simply putting in effort equals top-tier performance, and that getting a double-double, even in a losing effort, deserves recognition on the highest level imaginable.
Improvement. Angel's showing some improvement, and now Chicago Sky fans are pissed. Is it Chicago Sky fans, or is it Angel Reese fans? That's the thing that you just don't quite know. They're pissed at Tyler Marsh. And I'm like, but what if Angel's development is because of his coaching? Well, what if this found success is because of his coaching? You still want him run off? Because she obviously looks like an improved player.
To put it bluntly, Angel Reese isn't facing anywhere near the same defensive pressure as Caitlin Clark. Not even close. Defenders go all out against Clark, guarding her tightly, throwing constant double teams, and fighting through every screen like everything is on the line. She's treated as a major scoring threat every second she's on the court. Reese, on the other hand, gets a very different kind of attention. Opponents often give her space and seem comfortable letting her take shots, almost as if their game plan is built around daring her to score rather than stopping her outright.
Listen, these days watching the Chicago Sky compete is not that at all. It's like watching paint dry, unfortunately. One player I will never stop believing in is Angel Reese. Angel Reese is a straight up baller, double queen. In the first half, she already almost had a double against New York Liberty. However, I'm sorry, man. The coaching and the coaching decision continue to make the Sky look even worse than the roster is. Listen, I understand, y'all. If the roster is bad, it's hard. But Teaspoon had a hard roster last year as well. And she may not have been the best X's and O's coach, but she worked with what...
At this stage, the lack of respect is so obvious it almost feels like it should draw a technical foul. But somehow, fans of Angel Reese take it as a sign of dominance, thinking opponents are intimidated. In reality, it's more that teams just aren't overly worried. According to the scouting approach, the idea seems to be conserving energy because she's likely to miss on her own. Still, she charges into the paint aggressively, relying more on force than finesse, lowering her shoulder and pushing through defenders like it's a wrestling match before attempting a layup. Sometimes it drops, sometimes it doesn't, but the surprising part is the lack of calls. Despite the heavy contact, referees often stay silent, as if fouls suddenly don't apply during those moments.
Now, I've been on the record saying, hey, I don't think this coach has much talent to work with over there. You got Camila Cardoso, who's now going overseas. I don't think there's much talent over there for him to work with. I don't believe there's a single coach in the WNBA who would have this team in the playoffs. I just think there's a real lack of talent over there in Chicago. It just is what it is. But look, bruh, I told you about a month ago, Tyler Marsh, you might be looking for work soon.
Defensively, if we can even call it that, Angel Reese struggles a lot. She gets blocked frequently, often charging into defenders who are more than ready to stop her, making her shot attempts predictable and ineffective. On top of that, the turnovers are rough. Instead of tight, controlled plays, many of her passes seem careless. Wild throws, missed connections, and easy giveaways that hand possession straight to the other team.
I do not know how many more times it can be shouted from the rooftops. Fire Jeff Palagoka and Tyler Marsh before the clock strikes midnight. I turned the game on to see that this man Tyler Marsh emptied the whole bench midway through the third quarter. I saw an 8-point deficit go to 10, 10 go to 20, 20 go to 30, 30 push to damn near 40. This type of incompetence cannot, that can't be rewarded with a paycheck anymore. It's time to let that man go. Same thing with Jeff. That kind of incompetence cannot be rewarded.
Then there's the stat padding narrative. Angel Reese often stays on the floor even during blowouts, chasing rebounds or late buckets, which some fans praise as dedication, but the numbers can tell a different story. You might see a stat line that looks solid at first glance, but it often comes with inefficient shooting and costly turnovers. The effort is clearly there, but without efficiency, it ends up feeling more chaotic than impactful. Meanwhile, opponents don't treat her like a primary threat. They rarely double team or adjust heavily. The general approach seems to be letting her play without much pressure, trusting that things will work out in their favor.
It's just bad. It seems like Tyler Marsh doesn't have a plan. He doesn't really have offensive schemes, defensive schemes. I mean, I feel like a robot repeating myself. But it's just crazy to see it over and over every game. It's not even about them losing. It's atrocious on the perimeter, and he doesn't address any of that, man. He just doesn't address it.
The game highlighted major issues for both Chicago Sky and Angel Reese, from inconsistent coaching decisions by Tyler Marsh to Reese's inefficient scoring, turnovers, and heavy minutes that often feel more like stat chasing than impact. While fans defend her production, the reality on the court shows a raw player still developing, struggling with shooting, ball handling, and defensive awareness, while opponents barely adjust their strategy against her. Despite occasional flashes of effort and hustle, the overall performance reflects a team that was outcoached and a player whose numbers don't fully match her actual influence on the game.